Okay, I'm Cinbad. I'm from the east side. 4 Trey, 4 Deuce, 47, 48, 49. South side, third place, one way, 4,000 block. You name it, that's me and that's mine.
Kev Mac video, you know this is for sure. Kev Mac video, open your soul, represent your ghetto, baby.
All right, what was you born and raised at?
I was born and raised in LA. I was born at this old hospital. I don't know if you know about it. It was on 95th and Broadway. 1967.
And you grew up, did you go home to Fort Trey Hood or what?
I actually went to my grandmama's, which was Fort Trey Hood, on Santa Barbara and Woodmine back in the day.
All right, so you've been over there all your life?
Basically, except for the times I was in and out of foster homes.
All right. So when did you start going to juvenile hall or YA?
Ooh, I first went to McLaren Hall. This was like a foster facility probably by 79, 80. Then to the halls leaded like 81, 82.
And was you already from the set?
Yes.
What was it like before you got locked up? Like, who did you run with? What gangs was in the area?
Well, I was influenced real tough with my homeboy called Big Ant. So I ran with his family, the Enos's, on 820 East 43rd Street. You know, his brother Chino, rest in peace. Thad, Sister Nene, Sister LaJenna, cousins Ray Pete, Blue Eyes. I grew up with all of them in their household. And I ran with the homeboy Casper, Midget Man, little lady Crazy, Crazy, Ant Dog, Smurf, variety of little homeboys after my recruiting started coming in.
Was there such thing as Ghost Town at that time?
Yes, Ghost Town was his original own set. Was some Ghost Town related to the Fort Trades? Yes. Did some of them used to be Fort Trades? Yes. But Ghost Town was his own set. You know, and that kind of went out after the homeboy, rest in peace, Kenny Curry, stepped to them, let them know, hey man, y'all the backbone over here. So, you know, they just came on home later on.
In them days, did y'all have a relationship with the Venice show lines?
Yes, our relationship go back to the show lines since like maybe the early 70s.
And y'all original East Side set, right?
Yes. One of the first original East Side set. If you like, I can go into detail about it.
Yeah. I want to know.
Okay, originally, you had the East Side, West Side, and the Comptons come out. You know, you would hear dudes say, oh, Fort Trey, the first trades. Nah, we're not the first trade. We're the first Crips with a street number. Fort Trey was the first one to come to street number. When the Crips come down there, jumped on Lil Greg, and the homies huddled up and came down there, and they became Crips. The homies was East Side Crips for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. I don't mean that as Fort Trey, but they was 2 or 3 minutes. My homeboy, Baba Louie, God will, he'll be 72 this year. He looked up and said, shit, since we kicking on 43rd, why not call it Fort Trey, East Side or East Side Fort Trey? And the homies ran with that. We the first one to come with the numbers. Then you had other individuals start coming with the numbers.
Can you give me a roll call of some of the founders?
Well, you had some Crips come down you had Tim, I would say Baba Louie that came with the name, but you had like Tim and them came down. You had OG Black Johnny. You know, I can't really actually say who was the founder, but I know Tim played a part as far as like bringing the Crips down there. But then Baba Louie added the Fort Trey on there. But you guys think these guys are a lot older than me, you know?
All right. As far as Avalon Gardens, we know Avalon Gardens is an early set. Do y'all precede the Avalons, the A-line?
Yes. Put it this way. Fort Trey was the first Crips north of Slauson. We was the first Crips down there. Then after us became the Avalons. Then you had later on, at that time, you had a group of Fort Trey East Side and a group of East Side Avalons come together. I would just talk to my big homeboy Hachi about that. I'm asking why did this come about? Because I've been asking these stories since I was a kid, like the early 80s. And their stories always change. But from the understanding I got, you had a group of Faux Trade East Side and a group of East Side Avalons come together and form this Faux Trade Avalon because something was going on. I wouldn't say Faux Trade turned Avalon because it can easily be said, well, no, Avalon turned Faux Trade. You know what I'm saying? Because we the original set first. You know what I'm saying? The homies met, from the story I got from the homeboy, them, Bobby Louie, them, they was on their way to go kick with this new set come out called West Side Godfather. They was at this little spot on Vernon and Main called El Rey. They see some homies walking up that's dressed like them. They shake hands, greet each other, and they tell them, well, we Avalon Crip. The homies say, well, we Faux Trade East Side. They said, we know who you are. They hug, greet, and some of them jump on the bus, some jump on bikes, and they walk on over there to Godfatherhood and go party with the West Side Godfathers. But Faux Trade is the original set north of Slauson. We the original Crips down there north of Slauson.
So the Faux Trade's relationships with a lot of these Crip sets are early on, like from the onset. Harlem's, what about 90 Hoover?
Well, the homies, you got to think back then, all the homies got along. Because even, I'm just jumping straight, even and back in like 77, I go to a foster home on 73rd and Broadway. I done been there and been at East Coast and Hoover's football game. You know what I'm saying? I remember Cowboy from A-Trade Hoover burned Kendall from 6'9" East Coast on the football field. You know what I'm saying? So times was different back then. But our relationship with 90 Hoover go back to their existence. I had a cousin named Swap that was original 90 Hoover. You know what I'm saying? Those been the homies for years, you know?
So what's that, late 70s, about what year?
Well, I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe 90 came out in 77. I was like 10 years old. Like I said, I had went into foster home. I run into my cousin Swat at the ABCs. I believe it was ABCs on Manchester and either Maine. I think it was Manchester, Maine. It should be at ABCs right there running into him. But yeah, my cousin original 90 Hoover. Those are homies.
All right, so when you was coming up, when you was young, when all the Crips got along basically, what was Faux Trade Borders before the Broadways come in and all that?
Okay, let's clear this up. Five Loose Broadway and Faux Trade East Side, same DNA. Whether dudes want like it or want to hear that or not, those the same homies. All my homies that was Faux Trade East Side, the ones started Five Loose Broadway. Those were my homeboys. When Five Loose Broadway started Five Loose Broadway, they took during their half our hood with them. You had homies from Faux Trade turning Five Loose in Juvenile Hall, in County Camp, California Youth Authority, in the county jail, and in prison and on the street. You know, I would meet a homie, he'd be from Faux Trade, then join Faux Trade. 2 weeks later, he'd come back, he got a heart this big, he from Five Loose Broadway. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you got to think during that time, going up through the late 70s and early 80s, the West Side Hoover Crips and the Five Loose Broadway was the most recruiting two sets that it was. You know what I'm saying? They was recruiting like a motherfucker.
So Broadway blew up early on then.
Man, bro, I think Broadway, I believe, came out in like 74. But, you know, those was our homeboys. So it actually wasn't an established beef. They didn't start Five Loose Broadway to be at no odds with no Faux Trade East Side. Because if you talk to any OG Five Loose Broadway, they going to tell you. You know what I'm saying? They used to be Faux Trade. I mean, it ain't nothing to hide. You know, dude, homies did that like that. We had a lot of homies from the East Side ended up moving West Side and turning 60. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it was back then.
All right, so let me get this right. Early to mid 70s, who are your like closest allies as far as in the perimeter? Would it be Faux Trade, Five Deuce,
You
Five
said
Trade?
like the early 70s?
Yeah, early to mid 70s.
Well, you would say the homies all got along back then.
Right.
That thing with the homies in the Broadway was something that took place. That was like maybe like 79. But you gotta think all homies got along back then.
Right.
You would catch Faux Trade Hoovers and all type of West Side Crips floating up through there. You know, all type of shit. You know? Yeah, times was different back then. You gotta think back then. I'm a kid back then.
Yeah.
But I'm watching all this and I'm recording all this in my mind. You know.
Who was most influential in your that age bracket above you that you wanted to be like or run with?
Oh man, for sure. My older brother, Insane Dwayne, my homie Bird Train, my homie Top Cat, you know, they was riders. They went hard.
Was you around or ever heard about Bird Train having a spot in the 60s?
I believe it was brother and them, the Carter. I believe so. They had something over there. You know, the homies had spots everywhere because, you know, a lot of that stuff that you see on TV is not giving you up the truth. You got to think Faux Trades and which was, you know, connected with Third World and the Enterprise. You know, they had a lot of that shit early on. You know what I'm saying? So we was maneuvering. I remember opening the spots and all. different dudes neighborhood, but I ain't trying to rub no feathers. You know what I'm saying? I remember all that shit.
So when does Third World come into play?
Well, okay, let me give you this story my time. I get out of county camp. It's either October or November. But I remember calling my brother when I found out my mama was moving to Watts on 99 Central. And I said, shit, fuck, I'm gonna bring Southside Full Tray out there. My little brother Touche started laughing. Anyway, he's laughing. So when I get out, I bring Southside Full Tray to the street. Now, mind me, but at this time, they got this Third World going on. I'm mad, I'm crying, I'm disgusted because, you know, I want the homies, to, you know, because everybody banging and this was what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm crying and they like, nah, Cinbad, it's the same thing. I'm like, man, I'm crying, I'm mad. So I think it was my homeboy, Big Ant and them. Man, they threw me in the room with about 4 strawberries. Hey, cuz I come up out the room, my hat turned to the side, Third World. Third World, you know what I'm saying? They didn't got, I was like, shit, they didn't got to me, you know. I'm young, they threw me in this room with these badass strawberries. I come out the room, Third World, yeah.
So, you know, what year did you say? I missed
This was 83 when I got out of county camp.
All right, so,
I had left little Petey Whack in Camp Cleopatra at the time.
So
I had left, little Petey Whack.
So when does Whitey Enterprise come about?
I don't know. It was already going when I got out of county camp.
All right.
You know, Whitey was already established homeboy on the east side. Whitey been over there all his life. See, when I say east side, you got to think West Town, Broadway, they got east side history. You just can't escape that. Those are homeboys. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of, you know, everything that they do is on the east side.
I got a question about Avalon, about South Park. Did y'all grow up in South Park?
Everybody played in that park for years. I mean, it had been scuffles with my homies been up there fighting about South Park with the Broadway. Everybody been going to that park for years since we was kids. And what you were saying about the borders, remember you asked something about the border? A border as far as with who?
From the folk trays. Like you said, y'all was north of Slauson. How far did y'all go north?
Well, you got to think back in the days, there wasn't a borderline between Avalon and Full Trade because there wasn't no beef. You had Avalon Crips, you had them in the 40s, 50s, and then probably early part there. You had Full Trades in the 40s, the 50s, the 30s, and some in the 20s. You know what I'm saying? But it never been a borderline between, I don't know what's going on now with this new shit, but at no point in time had there ever been a borderline between the Avalon Crips and the Full Trade East Side.